US President Joe Biden, you mentioned him, his poll numbers are still terrible, even though he's now in a kind of Cold War with Russia over Ukraine. Now, that should have had voters rallying to him. It hasn't happened, and I wonder whether that's because this crisis actually makes voters think, well, gosh, I wish Joe Biden wasn't so vague and doddery and confused. The latest example last week saying that his wife had been vice president. Here he is.
And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces initiative. She started with Michelle Obama when she was vice president and now carries on.
How much trouble is the Biden presidency in?
Look, I mean, there's just no way to spin it. And I think a lot of the trouble that they're going to have is the fact that we didn't see a lot of Joe Biden in the first 100 days of his presidency. He did fewer media interactions than any modern day president who dealt with the presidency when there was TV networks to cover it. And that's where he got away with a lot of this. There was the distraction with the COVID pandemic where they were saying, oh, well, we're all focused on that. And no one's doing any interacting at press conferences or anything because COVID. Everyone's moving on from COVID. And we've had these major international crises, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was just an unmitigated disaster when you look at it from a strategic perspective. And now Ukraine, NATO coming together is exactly what should have happened, but it seems to have happened despite the president, not because of the president. We're hearing more from him now, and there's just constant contradictions. When he says to troops that they'll be going to Ukraine, then they'll have to walk that back. When he says that they will respond in kind to chemical weapons, they have to walk that back. When he made the first, most critical misstep, when he said in that press conference that if Russia were to invade Ukraine, if it were only a minor incursion, that wouldn't trigger a strong response from the US. That has to be the worst just green flag to Russia in this entire thing. And the pushback was not from the US originally. The economic sanctions can do a little, but what we saw was the pushback from Zelensky. We saw Europe come together and then the US come in. And that's where this is really starting to hit for people. They say, we're not the leaders on the global stage we used to be. Like Donald Trump or not, at least he kept the rest of the world in check because he was so unpredictable. No one wanted to make any sudden moves. Now with the Biden presidency, everyone's making the moves that they've wanted to for a long time.